For Hamblin Mountain today, and I'm here on Northshore Road, the Lake Mead area, just a bit past mile 18 as you're heading north. And let's do a 360. There's some mountains over there. Very descriptive, isn't it? Here we got things that we know a little better. There's the bowl of fire, northern portion of it, and we can now recognize Anniversary Ridge. We got to the base of that the other day after going through Anniversary Narrows. Okay, circling around now. We're looking west. South. I don't know a lot of these mountains yet. All I know is that I don't even know where I'm going today. All I know is that Hamblin Mountain's up in this direction, and it's behind these hills we see in the foreground. So I'm going to wind through this canyon and then look for something that looks like pictures I've seen of Hamblin Mountain. I know there's probably a better way to do this as far as, if you wanted to know exactly where you were going. Yeah, you wouldn't do it the way I'm doing today. You'd probably get a GPS and get coordinates and follow those coordinates. There is somewhat of a trail here. And it's right across the road here, and it heads up in that direction. So I'll have the benefit of a trail for a bit. Once I see something that looks like Hamblin Mountain from the pictures, then I'll know where to head. But in the meantime, I'm just heading through these this wash here between the hills. So here we go. Here you see a little trail, unmarked, and there's actually some hikers up ahead of me. So here we go. Very quickly head down into a wash. We're just beyond the Northshore Road, and this is fairly well marked, and you can see the path here. I imagine it might get lost a bit in the wash, but so far, everything's looking good. So let's continue on up this wash. Continuing up the wash. I'm not a fan of traveling in washes because you really can't see the surroundings, but I'm going to look for footprints and just see where this wash leads, and hopefully once I can get an eyeball on Hamblin Mountain, then we'll be in good shape. A little further up the wash, let's do a quick 360. There we are, looking back the direction we came. And looking up the wash, you can see why I don't like traveling washes. Because there's not much of a view. Okay, just emerged from this narrows. Looks like things are opening up a bit. So we're going to be able to look around and see where we are. The walls of this little canyon are pretty interesting. Look at how this wall slants upward, almost as if it were flat at one time and then the whole thing tilted up. Just amazing what the forces of nature have done to areas like this. And then you look up here and you see little plants. Here's a couple of barrel cacti that have found a place to grow somehow on this spot, it's amazing how they take root and then they establish a whole life. Who knows how many years in this one spot. Okay, let's continue on up. Could that be Hamblin Mountain up ahead? We don't know, but we'll have a better idea once we get a little higher in this wash. Still in this fairly blind wash. Of course, we can look off in this direction to the east and see the Muddy Mountains. So that's a kind of landmark. And as I'm continuing up this wash, I'm noticing that it almost looks like there's a trail here that goes up and around. So I'm going to take that and let's just see where it takes us. Well, I am going to head for this feature straight ahead, unless I see something that looks more like a Hamblin Mountain. But that seems to be the most prominent feature, unless we're looking over in this direction. There's something even higher. But, you know, it's just hard to tell. So, this little trail that we found took us back in this direction and to this adjoining canyon. So we'll go back to the adjoining canyon. There was a fork earlier that it looked like it would have led straight to that canyon. This looks like the crossover between two washes. Now you can look in this direction and there's a good shot of the Muddy Mountains, and you can see just a little bit of the bowl of fire, and above it, I believe that point up there is Anniversary Ridge, and then there's the saddle just below it where we emerged after traveling through Anniversary Narrows a few weeks ago. So this is the overall view of where we are. As you can see, washes leading in every direction, and so there's nothing definite right now. I don't know if one of these high points up ahead could be Hamblin Mountain. We'll certainly find out once we wind our way a little further up this adjoining wash that we're headed over to. So let's just go over here and see what we find. I head up this wash. There's the feature we were looking at a little earlier. And that just doesn't look like anything that reminds me of what Hamblin Mountain might look like. But looking over in this direction, this high point up here reminds me of some pictures that I saw. I'm going to head for that high point. And I think that might be Hamblin Mountain. We'll find out. I know as far as the washes go, I'm not taking the most direct trail, but it's kind of interesting just to navigate through these washes and get an idea of the terrain up here. Very wild, water-swept area. So yeah, let's head for this feature up here I may have to do a little bit of cross-country ridge traversing to get up there, but boy, that looks familiar from the pictures. Let's try it. In that same wash area we first descended into from Northshore Road, and you can see down in this direction, the direction we came from, you can see the muddy mountains in the background and the tip of Bowl of Fire. So, let's take a closer look at that. There we go. See that red? I believe that's part of the Bowl of Fire. And then you can see the wash area that we are passing through here. And then looking on ahead, I'm circling away from that feature that I was thinking was Hamblin Mountain. So I may have taken a wrong turn. I mean, the wash is up here. We'll just see when we emerge into a place that has a better view. By the way, the 360-degree view, just to complete that. Fairly high walls around us. A lot of people just explore and wander around this area, and looks like that's might be what we're doing today. High points along here. I think what I need to do is head back down this wash a bit, where there was another split that headed off to the a little more toward the southeast. So I'm going to head back down and check that out. In the meantime, yeah, the wash is getting pretty wild here, and there are high points, but these are not recognizable, so I'm going in the other direction. Okay, good news. Looks like we've got Hamblin Mountain just up ahead. And the only question is how to get there. Wind our way up to the summit, but we'll find it. And let's do a quick 360. You see the washes provide passageway that is pretty limited. I mean, you stay in the wash pretty much unless you take a ridge route, which is also a possibility. I was just up another wash up in this direction and looking at these features. So the key was I took a right, just on the gut feeling that from Hamblin Mountain you can see Black Mesa, and that other direction wasn't leading toward Black Mesa. And looks like we're back on track. So we're just going to keep heading up this wash and look for a way to ascend these hills, probably to the right of that high point, Hamblin Mountain, Hamblin Peak up there, and then circle around it and then head on up. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're closing in on something here. I don't know if that's going to be a saddle between the hump on the right and what looks like a higher point on the left, but it looks like we can get up to that hump on the right, and that'd be great if that was a saddle. Then we'd have it made, but we'll find out. Just 360-degree view here. Yeah, looking into the sun, everything's dark there, but as we look in the other direction, look at that, all the colors in the mountain, or in the landscape here. You see it's pretty wild. You see browns, whites, The white or the lighter color might be manganese. I'm not sure what the brown is. We'll call it mud. And the red is evidence of iron. So there's a high point behind us. Good view since the sun's shining on it. And again, here's where we are headed. So let's get up there and see if we can get to these high points and look around. Well, there are two high points. This one straight ahead, and then there's one off to the left that's hidden by this ridge in the foreground here. So, and it looks like there might be a saddle between them. So I may try to get to the top of both of them. And it looks like there's a route that's going to lead up to the summit of this first little peak. And once we get above this canyon, we'll be able to see where we are. And I believe this peak could be Hamblin Mountain, or maybe it's the one to the left that we can't see. We just don't know. We'll find out when we get up there. And then just give you a 360-degree view as much as for what it's worth in this wash. Here you can see, let's see if we can get to a little higher point. You can see down the wash in this direction, the way we came. And that may be the way we return, so we'll want to get a good view of these hills, because that could be our landmark on the way back. Otherwise, it's just heading down washes, and pretty much if you continue on the way back to just go downhill, you should be able to arrive back at the Northshore Road. We'll see if that actually works. For this peak, this was the sharp peak that was on the right, and it looks like it's higher than a lot of the peaks around, but there's no guarantee that this is actually Hamblin Mountain. Now, I'm beginning to see some awesome views here. We've got the Mount Charleston wilderness in the distance over in this direction. And then looking over in this direction, that looks like could almost be Gas Peak, that high point over there. And then Sheep Range over here. And these are just guesses, but I think they might be fairly accurate. And then we have the Bowl of Fire area. You see that red area that spans this area here. Let's see if we see Anniversary Ridge. I think that Anniversary Ridge is right in this area. You see that saddle there there's like 3 ridges, one in the far distance, one in the foreground, and then one right in the middle there that's in the sun. And I believe we were standing on that saddle there. And Anniversary Ridge, the high point is right up here. So let's continue around. Muddy Mountains. And then continuing on this direction, that looks like the Virgin Mountains. Well, once again, these are guesses. So there you have it. And here's the wash area that we were in. Some hikers down there. Now they probably actually made it up to Hamilton Mountain. If Hamilton Mountain is one of these, or Hamblin Mountain, is one of these high points up here, you know, who knows what exact point that would be, but I'm sure people looking at this video can point out exactly where Hamblin Mountain is. But in the meantime, we're heading to the top of this, see in the sun, and I think we'll get a good 360-degree view no matter what this is. Okay, I dropped down and I circled around. I'm just looking for a ridge that looks like it's more gradual, and I think I might have found it. Still heading up to that high point, and I don't have the sun staring me straight in the eye when I try to look up the mountain, which is nice to be able to see where I'm going. So I'm going to try this, and there actually was, as I circled around a little lower on this peak, there was a little trail that skirted the about this level of the peak. And so yeah, I want to stand up there in that spot and look around. I don't know if that's going to actually be the, you know, Hamblin Mountain, but we'll get up there and look around. And then here you see the landmarks for the wash system I'm going to take back. And then, of course, looking around this direction, we're looking at Bowl of Fire area and Muddy Mountains. And then over in this direction, the Sheep Range, and Mount Charleston has disappeared for the time. I think as we rise higher, we'll see it. So here we are, ascending this ridge here, and let's just see where it takes us. Here we go. So we're continuing up this ridge to that peak area. We don't know exactly where we are, but all we know is that it's a very high peak. And you can see, looking around, not much solid to stand on in this area. I feel like an ant climbing up a sand hill and sliding back every few steps. But we're seeing some really cool things. There is the Mount Charleston Wilderness, and then to the left is Rainbow Mountain Wilderness, and then Potosi Mountain off in this direction. These are the distant mountains that you're seeing. I gotta watch it as I turn here because I'm on a slippery slope. But yeah, over here, Gas Peak area. There we go. With the Sheep Range to the right. So a lot of things coming into view here. And then you can see down into the Bowl of Fire and Anniversary Ridge above the Bowl of Fire. And my return ridge is going to point straight toward this feature want to make sure we go down the correct return ridge here. Who knows where we'd end up. And there's the Muddy Mountains. And then circling around once again. Yeah, you can see the mining area where we went into Anniversary Narrows. And you can see the saddle area where we emerged above, right on that ridge. Yeah, right in that area. Okay, a lot of things to see from this point. So I need to keep winding my way up this ridge here and then see if I can find an opening to summit the top there. I don't know, it may be a straight wall and there's no way to do it, or maybe I can weave around and find my way up to the top. Okay, onward. Well, now we're way up on that peak. As you can see, very jagged and rocky all around us. We came up that ridge right there. Wow. A lot of loose rock. Well, let's see what we can see. Try to keep my footing here. There is the Bowl of Fire area. And if you look carefully, you can see Northshore Road down in there. Muddy Mountains. And you're looking along Anniversary Ridge above Muddy Mountains, down into the mining area down here where we took Anniversary Narrows. In fact, if you look carefully, you can see the opening of Anniversary Narrows. Let's see, off in the distance, there you've got Mount Charleston Wilderness, and to the left, Red Rock Park, Rainbow Mountains, and Pinto Mountain. I'll just skim along here. And then straight ahead here is Gas Peak. And to the right of Gas Peak is the Sheep Range. Then, of course, the Muddy Mountains Bowl of Fire area. I believe the Virgin Mountain Range is there. Continuing around. Big valley here. I wonder if that's Pinto Valley. Not sure. I believe that Gold Butte area may be out in that direction, the far distance. And then, of course, we've got this peak up ahead, and maybe that's Hamblin Mountain. I don't know, but it looks like there is quite a barrier there. Maybe it's easier when you get up there. If I can get around, then it's pretty much a walk up to the summit there. That would be a nice view. I bet I'd be able to look down on Lake Mead. But I don't know if I'm gonna actually make it that far. So there you have it. Major 360-degree view of the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. Bird flying below us. that always engenders confidence when you see birds flying below you. Makes you feel like you're on top of the world. Okay, there you have it. And yes, we'll go down to this ridge, travel along the ridge to the barrier bluff there, see if there is a natural way around that barrier, and we can head on up to the top. Otherwise, we may be at the end of our trip for today. I don't think this is a normal route up the mountain, because I did not see any evidence of human passage here. A lot of ridges that end in drop-offs. We'll retrace our way back down this ridge we came up just now once we turn around. I can't believe I did this. Here's the other side of that barrier. And I guess I could have stayed high, because it looks like there is a little crack here that leads around, and it's pretty secure without exposure. I just wasn't sure from the other side. But yeah, I could have stayed up high on the ridge. Instead, just to play it safe and to avoid exposure, I went around this end and went low, and then around to the other side of this rock barrier. On the way back, I think I'm going to try this way here and just hug the side of the rock, because it looks like it's not too bad. But there is a summit right up here, and so it looks like it's a pretty steady, easy walk up to that summit. And I actually see what looks like a trail on that other ridge below. So that would be an interesting alternate return trip, as long as it didn't land me in Calville Bay, someplace way far from my start. But let's go ahead up here, see if we can stand on that summit. Here we go. Wow, look at this. I'm glad I persisted. Lake Mead's coming into view. I don't know if I'm on the exact summit, but look around us. A lot of familiar landmarks there is Fortification Hill. There's a page for that on LasVegasAreaTrails.com where we stood on top of Fortification Hill at the very summit high point. And then just in a little bit, I think we hit the true summit over there. But I want to take a shot here because there are things in view here that won't be in view up ahead. So here we're looking at Black Mesa, page for Black Mesa, where we summited that on LasVegasAreaTrails.com. And straight behind it, if you look carefully, you can see the Las Vegas Strip. And then Pinto Mountain in the distance there. And then moving along. Wow, lots to see up here. There is Frenchman Mountain. And behind it, a little bit to the right, the Mount Charleston Wilderness. Circling around, you can see Centennial Hills nestled in the valley up there. And then over here, Gas Peak. And by the way, there are pages on LasVegasAreaTrails.com for all of these locations where we summited these areas. There's the Sheep Range to the right of Gas Peak. And then now you look down into the mining area in the Muddy Mountains. And at the end of this mining area is the entrance to Anniversary Narrows. And then you can see Bowl of Fire, the red rock stretching out around us, right in the center, and then behind the Muddy Mountains. And boy, if you look carefully, I do believe that, let's see if we can nail Anniversary Ridge. I think that this ridge is Anniversary Ridge above the red rock straight ahead. And then, yeah, maybe it's right in this area. If you look carefully, you'll see a saddle. And to the right and up above that saddle is Anniversary Ridge. And we were there on the Anniversary Narrows page. Okay, Muddy Mountains. And then now looking north, you see the Overton arm of Lake Mead. And I believe this is the Pinto Valley, straight ahead and below. Not sure. And then circling around again, we see Lake Mead. So let's move on over to the next high point, see what things look like from there. Here we are at just across the way from where I was standing before. Get a little different view. There we are looking down at Lake Mead. Fortification Hill. Looks like there's another summit over here. Not sure if this is Hamblin Mountain Summit or that up ahead is, but I am going to, for today, turn around here. But that does look like a good future summit, which would have an incredible view. And then Pinto Mountain in the distance. Black Mesa right in the center. And you're looking across the Rainbow Mountains. There in the foreground, looks like a camel's hump, is Frenchman Mountain. And then behind it, and a little bit to the right, is the Mount Charleston Wilderness. Panning around Gas Peak. And to the right of Gas Peak, the Sheep Range. Amazing view from up here. And then we're coming into the Muddy Mountains here. There's the mining area again, where the entrance to Anniversary Narrows is. And there you see the red rock is the Bowl of Fire. And remember, these mountains in the foreground here are our landmark for finding our way back. That should be interesting, because we've navigated a whole lot of different washes on the way up here. And then I believe the Virgin Mountains over there, straight ahead. Pinto Valley below us. Gold Butte area. See some snow up there. And boy, there's a lot more in the distance that I do not know yet, but we will discover that eventually and put all the missing pieces together. And then here we are back at Lake Mead. Okay, so that does it for Hamblin Mountain. As I said, I don't see any summit markers up here, which makes me wonder if the real Hamblin Mountain is straight ahead there. But that'll be another day. I'm at my turnaround point. Yeah, so you can see the summit here. Okay. We'll be heading back down. Lots of slippery, slidey, loose rock to navigate. Going straight ahead after all. That is Hamblin Mountain. So I'm going to go up there and then back down to the saddle and then return through the washes this direction for a grand circuit. So yeah, a little change in plans, but yeah, when I found out that, a couple of hikers here, I found out that that was indeed Hamblin Mountain, so got to go for it. Here we go. Okay, well, this is a lot different. I actually hit the real trail. Wow, what a difference from climbing that loose rocky ridge. So this trail takes you up to the summit of Hamilton Mountain. I'm going to take this up and then take the main trail back and miss all those washes and ridges. So That's a pretty cool result here. Okay, Hamilton Mountain. 360-degree view. And we'll be returning this way, and I'll show you where the actual trail is. We've actually made a big circuit and I came up the very difficult way. We're going to go down the easy way. Yes. Here we are, definitely at the summit of Hamilton Mountain, and you can see a little summit marker here. Let's take a look at it. And it actually says Pinto. So, but this is the summit of Hamilton Mountain. And believe me, the trail from where I was standing last to this point, very easy, which is a wonderful change. And look at the view. Here's a 360. It's Lake Mead, Fortification Hill, Temple Bar area, Potosi Mountain in the far distance. Hopefully in the center. Hard to say, I cannot see a thing on the phone here. But I do know for sure Mount Charleston Wilderness. And to the left, Centennial Hills below. And then let's zoom in on Gas Peak. There's Gas Peak and Centennial Hills down in the valley to the left. And then continuing on to the right of Gas Peak is the Sheep Range. Well, I'm glad I came this far because there's a regular trail all the way down. I took the brutal path coming up, and evidently the trail on the way down is much, much easier. And here we are looking toward the Virgin Range, I believe. Of course, we'll be discovering more of this in time to come. And Gold Butte is either here or maybe to the right. We don't know. Lake Mead coming back into view. What a beautiful day. And this is definitely the summit of Hamblin Mountain. By a circuitous route that you may not want to take on the way up, but I'll show you the route on the way down, which is a much tamer route with trails, and we'll use the Muddy Mountains over here as a frame of reference, just to make sure that we don't end up down at Calville Bay by accident on the way back, because I haven't taken this route before. I hear the trail can get lost, so, but it seems like it's a pretty good trail. Wow. Do one more circuit and I won't say a word. Okay, there you have it. Hamblin Mountain. Now it's time to head back. If that trail remains good, I could probably run it back. Definitely no running on the way here. Climbing slippery, slidey rock, loose rock, avalanche slopes. But hopefully not on the way back, from what I hear. And by the way, there is Black Mesa. Excellent view. Okay, high point in this area. And what a tremendous view we've got. Okay, heading back down. Here we go. By the way, here is that ridge that I came up. And you can see to the right and the left, there's a high point, and in the middle, there's that rock barrier. Not going down that way. Instead, I'm going down what I understand is a regular trail. I may be able to run this. That will be a nice change. Okay, heading down. Okay, here we are at the saddle. And again, there is the summit up in that direction. Hamblin Mountain. And coming down a different way than we went up. Boy, look at these trails. That is an actual trail. So much different than an avalanche slope. Okay, heading down this trail now. And actually, this is the trail I was on before that took that high, crazy ridge. And here is the trail heading down from the saddle. So there is the trail going up to Hamblin Mountain summit. Here is the trail heading down right in the saddle. And there is the crazy direction I came from, which involved a lot of avalanche slopes. So let's head down this way for a change. Here we go. This trail, since we did not come up this way, this is the main trail, winds through this canyon, and you see Hamblin Mountain, the tip to your right up here. This winds through the canyon and up to the top of a saddle. On your way and on your way back, of course, it winds down through the canyon. We don't know exactly how because we haven't been there before, but we're going to find out. There's that crazy ridge we summited on the way up. And I believe that rocky knob is the barrier that we passed. Don't know for sure. We'll get a better look in a bit. Last three dry waterfall we just descended in the canyon that's leading us down. And nothing anywhere near as challenging ahead. And that dry waterfall wasn't too bad. Another look. Better perspective. Little dry waterfall. There's some good handholds and footholds going up that, and then we continue to descend the canyon. Here we go. The main route to Hamblin Mountain, I'd be heading up this canyon. On the other hand, I believe what I ended up doing is taking that high route from another canyon and ascending that slope right there, then up to the top, and then down, and then on up to that point. So, big difference in how the surface is here. Here is a really nice trail. Where I was pretty much an avalanche slope. And here we are looking down the canyon here. So we're going to continue on down And I believe you can see the tips, the double tip of some of those ridges that I was using as a landmark. Took some washes along that way. I'm not going to take that on the way back. I'm going to stick as much to the trail as I can, do some running. Okay, here we go. Okay, looking back up the trail, it descends. I just descended out of that canyon I was in, and there's the trail going up the canyon, and it looks like there's a crossover here. And so we're going to try this crossover and see where it leads. I know that we're heading in that direction, which is a good direction. So let's go ahead and take this, see where we end up. Here we go. It's taking me down into another series of washes. Familiar area though. I remember these landmarks and those hills right there. So I'm going to imagine that I just take the washes and keep heading downhill. So we'll do that right here. And just to get an idea where we've been, on the way up, I ascended this high point and then took ridges all the way over to Hamblin Mountain, which is up in that direction. And instead, if I'd been on this trail, I could have just circled around, gone over a ridge here and up that main trail. But nice circuit. Okay, onward. Okay, I just came down from this direction. Give you an idea what you'd be looking at were you ascending on the trail instead of up avalanche slopes. And then I'm heading down into the canyons here, and I think that we'll hit some washes and just take the washes back to the parking area on Northshore Road. Here we go. Oh, by the way, 360-degree view. Almost looks volcanic. And you didn't need to cross over the way I did. I just decided to take this route, see if it leads down to the washes that I ascended on the way. Could have stayed in the canyon we were in before the trail took an ascent over a ridge and across into this area. Okay, checking in here. If you were heading up this way, you'd be heading up this canyon, and you can see the rock formations around you. On the other hand, heading back down, it appears to me that there's a fork in the wash, and I'm going to keep going downhill like water because I think that's going to lead me back. So I'm going to take a left here. And then some views around us. I think actually I've been here before. This is where I took that little jog up that direction and then decided to come back and head up this direction, but then I got stuck in the ridges up there because I wasn't confident in the trail. So yeah, if you want a trail, this is the way to go. Let's take this around the corner just to verify that there is indeed a wash that continues downhill. We don't want to take that one on the way down. It's going uphill. But this looks promising. So we're going to stay in this wash and just ride this wash all the way down. And that should take us down to Northshore Road where we began. And once again, this is the split area just up ahead where you're going to split off to the right if you're heading up to Hamblin Mountain. Okay, down this wash, looking very familiar. Look at the design in this rock. All the veins of white in the red rock. Wow. And continuing down the canyon. And we came from this direction. And this is heading up the canyon. Okay, here we go. The wash continues downward. You can see the muddy mountains in the distance there, which means that this is heading down Northshore Road. Get a 360-degree view. There's the wash were you to be going uphill. Remember, there's a right turn up there, which I showed in a previous video. That's where you cross over and head up to, looks like that's a piece of Hamblin Mountain right up there. And sure enough, I'm seeing what looks like some of my footprints as I head down this wash. That's a good sign. By the way, I wouldn't do this on a summer day that was like 115, 120 degrees because you just don't want to get lost in these washes. And there's quite an intricate wash system. But you can experiment on the last Saturday in January of 2021. Well, there's a dry waterfall I do not remember. In fact, I bit it on the way down there. Ended up doing a 2-knee landing down in the wash. Good I didn't hit something sharp and that I was wearing knee braces. Anyway, yeah. Continuing down this wash. That dry waterfall makes me wonder if I'm going to emerge someplace a little different than where I started. We'll see. I just don't remember that dry waterfall on the way up. Okay, I remember this narrows, so interesting that I did not remember the dry waterfall. So, looks like we are back on track. Rocks are fairly slick, so we want to be careful, especially if those slick rocks have a fine coat of gravel and dust. And here's looking up where we just came from. Okay, good news. North Shore is straight ahead. And the only question is, where do I ascend out of this wash? And you know, this looks like a good candidate right here. And the other question is, yeah, this is good. Because I remember descending into the wash on the way. But the other question is, am I in the same area, following the same route that I took coming, or am I going to be emerging onto North Shore, either up or down the road from where I need to be? Oh, look, there are some cars, and there's that ridge that leads to yeah, and there's the beast up there. So perfect. Yeah, and then we're looking across at the Bowl of Fire, and you can see the Bowl of Fire page on Las Vegas Area Trails when we took this same exit, or the same turnoff, to our turnout, I should say. It's not actually a turnoff. we took this same turnout just beyond mile 18 going north on North Shore, and on the other side of the road is a pretty nice trail that leads around the right side of that ridge in the foreground and then circles around and heads up to the bowl of fire. So here we are, yes. And we'll do a 360 here. What a great day. We found Hamblin Mountain without even knowing where it was. So that's pretty cool. And we discovered more washes and ridges than people who know the trail. We came down the main trail. We headed up and crossed a number of washes and ridges, and eventually that really crazy ridge where we were on an avalanche slope. But it all turned out. It's quite an adventure. Okay, let's get a shot of the beast here. There's the beast. Successful Hamblin Mountain circuit route. Okay, we're heading back now. Back of the beast, Northshore Road. You see the mountains a lot more clearly because the sun's not directly behind them shining down on us. So just do a quick 360. And this is just 0.2 miles past mile 18 going north.